Hello, my dear children. Today we will start a new chapter, Saving the Tiger. So, before beginning, let's know about Shekhar Dattari, who has shared his personal experience of encountering a tiger just in an age of 19 in this chapter. And also, not only personal but also he has provided many facts about tigers. So, Shekhar Dattari is one of the pioneers of wildlife and conservation filmmaking in India. And he started his filmmaking journey in 1983. He began his career at the age of 13 when he joined famous Madras Snake Park as a student volunteer in 1976. This led to nature photography and subsequently to filmmaking. His first film, A Cooperative for Snake Catcher, won the National Award in 1987 for Best Scientific Film. His next two documentaries, Seeds of Hope and Silent Valley, an Indian Rainforest, were also National Award winners. He has written three children's books. Silent Valley has also won several international awards, including a special jury award at the Jackson Hole Wildlife Film Festival in America. Now, let's see paragraph number 1. I was 19 when I saw my first tiger in the wild, and it was every bit as thrilling as I had imagined. I was in Kanha Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh, seated on a young tame elephant that was barely 6 feet tall. The elephant and its teenage Mahat were being trained to track tigers by more experienced trackers on much bigger elephants. I sat behind the boy Mahat and hung onto a rope for dear life as the elephant struggled up a steep slope amidst thick bamboo. Suddenly, a flash of orange caught my eye. There, beside the narrow path, sat a handsome young tiger. For a heart stopping moment, our eyes met in mutual surprise. The tiger was so close that it could have easily leapt onto our elephant and pulled us down, but it just sat there calmly looking at us with curiosity. Then, as my elephant gave a heave and climbed to the top of the slope, the orange cat disappeared from view. Since that day, several decades ago, I have had many close encounters with wild tigers during my career as a wildlife filmmaker. But that first glimpse will always remain special. So, here in this paragraph, writer is telling us about his personal experience when he encountered a tiger. He was 19 years old when he first saw the tiger, and he saw the tiger in Kanha Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. The time when he saw the tiger, Shekhar Dattari was sitting on a young tame elephant. The elephant was young, so definitely the height was not too much. The elephant was short, barely 6 feet tall, just 6 feet tall. And this height is like nothing for a tiger to jump and catch its prey. So, Shekhar Dattari was sitting on a young tame elephant and he was sitting behind a Mahat. Mahat is a person who looks after elephants. You must have seen someone sitting on an elephant and then guiding it through the way, right? That person is called Mahat. So Shekhar Dattari was sitting behind a Mahat. So Mahat was also a teenage boy. he was also being trained to track tigers. And who all were giving him that training? More experienced trackers, and they were sitting on much bigger elephants. So Shekhar Dattari sat behind a teenage Mahat on a young tame elephant, and he was tied by a rope, and he held that rope very tightly to avoid any sort of accident. So now, while this elephant was trying to walk on a very sharp slope between the bamboos, suddenly Shekhar Dattari saw something orange, and then beside the narrow path, there was sitting a young tiger. That time, when Shekhar Dattari saw that tiger, his heart skipped a beat. And instead of attacking these people, that tiger sat very calmly and was very curiously, that tiger was looking at them. And Shekhar Dattari and the tiger had an eye contact. The height was barely 6 feet, and this tiger could have easily pulled them down. But it did nothing. When that elephant climbed to the top of the slope, the orange cat disappeared from the view. After this incident, there were many incidents where he encountered tigers. But this first encounter was very special, and this will always remain special for the writer. Now, see paragraph number 2. Despite its status as our national animal, the tiger is highly endangered. Less than 2000 survive in our forest. According to Dr. Ullas Karant, a leading tiger expert, this forest can easily support 3000 more tigers if we do the right things. This requires understanding what tigers need in order to survive and taking determined steps to remove the threats they face. So, this paragraph says that tiger is a national animal, this we all know. And despite this fact, this status, tiger is still endangered, highly endangered. Endangered means when suddenly you start noticing a fall in the number of a particular animal and very few are left, and when it's possible that soon we might not see few of them in near future, that means that particular animal is endangered. So very less number of tigers were left in India, and despite this fact that it is a national animal, it is endangered in India. And as per Dr. Ullas Karant, he is a leading tiger expert. He says that in India, these forests can have like 5,000 of tigers. But how many are living currently? Only 2,000 are surviving in our forest. We can have 3,000 more. That means in total 5,000 we can have, but we have only 2,000. How can we do this? We can do this if we understand their needs and we take certain measures to remove all sort of dangers that these tigers are facing. Here, I would also like to add that on 29th July, Global Tiger Day, in 20, Union Environment Minister released detailed report of the 4th All India Tiger Estimation 2018. And he said that number of tigers in India has increased by 741 within a span of 4 years from 2014 to 2018. And this is really good news that numbers of tigers is rising day by day. Now see paragraph number 3. Most of us are aware that tiger poaching is a major threat. Every part of the tiger, be its skin, bones or body parts is in high demand in China and parts of Southeast Asia where the skin is used for decorative purposes and the bones and body parts are used as ingredients in traditional medicine. Although there is no evidence of the efficacy of tiger products in treating illness, deep rooted superstitious beliefs fuel the increasing demand. With tigers having been driven to extinction in most other Asian countries, national parks and sanctuaries have become the main target of poachers. Two other factors worsen the impact of tiger poaching: habitat destruction and the poaching of prey animals. So this paragraph says that we all know that how this number has declined, how our actions have made this beautiful animal fall in the red list. What do? We kill them. Humans kill them for their skin, bones, and body parts. Every body part is high in demand in China. What they do with it? They use almost each body part they use for different purposes, but most of the time they use it for traditional medicine. And it is not even scientifically proven that these medicines really help in curing the diseases. So it is all that superstitious beliefs. They are just believing it blindly without any scientific proof. So in now most of the Asian countries, the number of tiger has fallen. Now these poachers they eye on Indian tigers. They poach Indian tigers. Now, not only this, now two more factors. Shekhar Dattari has shared that two other factors are also there aggravating the condition of tigers. One is habitat destruction. Habitat means of living. The place where tigers are living that are destructed. Deforestation has actually brought many other species at the verge of extinction. Second is poaching of prey animals. Not only tiger, many other animals are also poached for different purposes. Sometimes people kill animal for fun. They find poaching very entertaining. So when they kill animals on which tigers survive, for example, deer, tiger, they eat deer, and when people kill deer or any other animal that tigers eat, so definitely there is nothing left for a tiger to eat. So this has also led to the decline of the population. Now see paragraph number 4. Several hundred years ago, most of India was clothed in forest and tens of thousands of tigers roamed the length and breadth of the country. But as the human population increased and agriculture expanded, forests were felled to such an extent that today tigers are confined to the green island we call national parks and sanctuaries. Another threat, and one that often goes unnoticed, is rampant poaching of prey animals by people living around our nature reserves. A variety of methods, including snares, traps, guns, arrows, and poison. Huge number of deer, birds, and other animals are illegally hunted by people for meat. When prey becomes scarce in the forest due to hunting, it affects the tiger population. A tigers that can raise 4 cubs in a forest with abundant prey may not be able to raise even 1 cub successfully in a forest where prey is scarce. As you all know that day by day human population is increasing, so we need more space to live, more space to survive. So then at that time what we do, we cut down all the trees. We make space for us, but we forget that this place is just not for us but also for other animals. And then we limit these animals to roam, to survive only in particular area that we call sanctuaries and national parks. This is the one threat I told you, habitat destruction. The another one is poaching of prey animals. I have already told you that people they kill other animals for fun, like birds and deer. They kill them for their meat, for entertainment. And what they use variety of methods like noose made of wire or cord to catch deer or birds. They also poison them. They use guns and arrows also. So, because of this illegal hunting of the animals for prey, their number is also declining. So, when there is no food, can you survive? Same thing is happening with tigers. There is no food for them. We are killing them. We are taking away their food. So, because of this thing, where a tiger should raise around 4 cubs, the tiger is unable to raise even one because there is no food. That's it for today, children. If you have any confusion, please ask. Thank you.